All right, stay tuned, El Paso, my friends. Thank you so much for joining us for this week's edition. Stay tuned to El Paso with Priss and Vic. I'm Vic.
Priss. Hello.
She's Priss.
Hello.
You're festive.
Hello. I'm so excited to show my... It's Christmas time. We're shiny time.
It's a shiny time
Shiny time, guys. Merry Christmas. Or happy holidays.
As we record, I'm not exactly sure when this is going to fall into the placement of the month, but I think we'll be very close, if not possibly the week of Christmas.
That's
this
why.
Could be running.
This is important.
So very nice to see you brought your tie.
I brought my tie.
This actually starts our, not that there's so much of a theme on the podcast here with Stay Tuned El Paso, but this actually starts our Friends of Radio edition. What I wanted to do was throughout the podcast, Priss, we've always said this is going to be featuring El Pasoans and people in and around the city, in and around the area who we think are legendary or soon to be legendary. I love to throw that legend word around.
Legends.
But the one thing that I also wanted to showcase are the different friends that I've met throughout my radio career, because these guys and gals are absolutely amazing.
Hidden treasures that we are being able to expose right in front of your eyes, guys.
Expose I like
them. We're
that.
exposing them.
Exposure.
How do you feel?
Exposed. I feel exposed now.
Exposed lives matter.
one of my dear friends, and I think we got started. Well, you're good with the history. We'll get into it. Yeah. Mario Kato, Super Mario of KLAQ. And I don't mind saying that because I used to work there many, many years. In fact, that's really technically where I got my radio start from. I did work at other radio stations prior to, but I feel like the Q and KROD and even KISS FM, for my time there, was where we got started as the train's rolling by.
Yeah,
it's calling bullshit. It's calling bullshit on me, but that's what happens. But you and I. We were waiting here earlier behind the scenes before we started recording, and you told me that we knew each other before then.
Yeah, so Vic was actually DJ Bird.
Right.
So before you and
it was MC Bird, but
MC
okay,
Bird,
close.
DJ Bird, whatever.
Bird was in there.
Bird's in there. But what happened was we were at public radio at one time.
Right.
This was when it was on Myrtle Street.
Yes.
It was KXER.
Right.
And you have to say it correctly. It was public radio. And there was another two people that you know. One of them was your first, guest?
Yeah.
Was Joe Dorgan.
Joe Dorgan, legendary. That's we talked about Joe being on KXER.
Right? That's kind of one of the things. The second one was Monica from KISS. I bet you don't remember that.
I don't remember that.
Monica was actually there. Okay, but anyways, let's go back. There was a show you were doing with a bunch of mixes and stuff.
Right.
I was Stephen K at the time. I was doing with the ska. What was the ska guy? Agustin.
Wow, ska. You're pulling out names that I haven't.
So you remember that?
Yeah.
Remember? So I would pretty much set up his records and do stuff like that with Agustin. Then I started working in a little bit of the, I guess, different kind of genre of music, jazz per se, or whatever you want to call it. You had that jazz voice. So it was cool, but that's where I met the Victor Cruz of the time, was, your radio stuff. And I think you were 2 or 3 people, right?
Well, I was going to say, let me fill in the gaps. Yeah. At that time, so this has got to be, and Priss, I'm just throwing numbers because this, I do remember. 91, 92, 93, so it had to be right before I really started working on the Q. So it was I want to say about 91, 92.
Yes, that's correct.
Outside of high school, we were taking classes at El Paso Community College, and it was another buddy of mine, Tony De Luna, Tony, if you're watching, God bless you, I miss you, brother. Tony and I were doing, Sounds of the Underground. Oh my God.
There we go.
Sounds of the Underground. Sorry.
Yeah.
I need a cigarette.
Breathe.
Yeah. So we were doing like a hip hop show. We do a couple of hours of rap, and this is before any other station was playing a rap whatsoever. And we even went to B94 back in the day and presented rap to them, and they said no. And we were also working with Moose. Sergio.
Sergio. Oh, wow.
And he was doing Sounds of the Underground also, but it was the alternative side.
Right.
It was the Depeche Modes and the Joe Dorgan kind of stuff. And I think he was even working a bit with, again, Serge, good to see you, brother. I know we haven't bumped into each other. So that's how we were doing. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because at that time, the community college radio station was going to try to buy out not buy out. They were going to try to buy KXCR. as a public station as best as they can.
Right,
and
right.
we were presenting it, okay, well, we have this show and then we have this show. And I think management changed in that time frame. It was like about a summer or two that we were working on it. And so it never came to fruition.
So,
but I didn't know you were there.
I was there. I was on the night stuff. And I think you would call and hang up on us and tell me you suck and then hang up.
Oh,
yeah, I remember.
It might have been Tony. I think it was Moose.
So anyways,
Moose
other
was
than
doing
that,
it.
I think, and then everybody just moved. The voices have always been, El Paso for radio. I know that Steve Cross knows. You know the there's a lot of famous people coming out in radio. For me, I've been true to the brand. I've always been a KLQ person.
Yeah.
Started 25 years ago.
Well, then, so did we then start working roughly about the same time?
Roughly. So I was there maybe a year before you were. So maybe 91.
Okay.
I was in there, 91. I was in the days when the Buzz Adams show was actually, Buzz Adams was at night. And one of my radio heroes, Magic Mike, was getting ready, as well as Will Douglas.
Mm-hmm.
Remember Will Douglas? So they're going to try to move him into morning radio. That's when they brought him in from Oklahoma, blah, blah, blah. Don't know the whole story for him, but they brought him in, and then took about a month. He was doing the night shift.
Right.
Switched over after the Courtney Nelson, Big Al and Courtney Nelson show.
Wow.
Switched over.
We're going back in history.
And I do remember a little bit, like I did listen to the Buzz Adams show when it was at nighttime.
So
that was the whole point. By the way, Mario's right.
He was kind of.
They brought him in knowing that either Courtney and Big Al were going to move on, or if and when Courtney and Big Al, the morning show, then moved on, they already had a plan B.
They had the strategic.
Yeah, and that was the whole point. Absolutely, by the way, why they brought in Buzz.
Oh, so history lesson.
So this is before me.
Yeah, so a little bit before you, and we were at the Rio Bravo station. The stories of the excessive partying were always there. It was great, but
never partook in it.
Oh my goodness!
Sure, you did. Come on.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I see your nose growing.
Yeah.
Just saying.
So
bigger than it is.
So flash forward 10, 15 years. Radio, and it was from records. Were you there when we were spinning records?
Slightly.
Right?
Yeah.
How are you slightly there?
No.
Well, no, because we still had records to spin. We still had records that we had to queue up, but we were already into CDs, and CDs were already, even at that quickly, they were already being phased out, and we were putting things into computer already.
Right.
No, I think at the time, and I'll get into it, but I think at the time that Mario was talking about, I honestly believe that was the highlight of all of our radio careers, because it was such an amazing time, technology-wise, music-wise, and also just for us personally.
Yeah,
it was a great
and that's
time.
why I'm saying I'm here as a guest, but I'm going to interview both of you, because the funny thing is that a lot of this history of, and I can't speak for the station, okay? I need to make that clear. It's just my experiences and the people that I've been, associated with, and also the people I've spoken with, and I'm usually the guy behind the scenes.
Right.
I never wanted to be a famous Victor Cruz, or
Neither did I. Neither did I.
But, I was always your weekend guy. I was always the guy that was grilling at the station. I got in trouble.
You're my favorite guy.
There's a story of me.
A couple of times.
Yeah, I got in trouble, and I was grilling at the station. I'll tell you a quick story. I was grilling at the station. Courtney Nelson comes to the station, and he says, "What are you doing?" I go, "I'm grilling."
Courtney Nelson was he the PD at the time?
He was our PD. That's correct.
Courtney Nelson was the
program
director at the time of the station. So he was our boss.
Okay.
Yeah. So he comes in on a weekend, and he sees smoke in the foyer, and I thought I was smart. I parked the company vehicle to block the foyer.
Oh my God!
So nobody's going to see the smoke coming out of the foyer, right?
You see the station logo. Why do you?
You see the station logo.
KLQ bands on
fire. Yeah.
So
yes,
I remember
the mobile home of rock. No, I don't know.
I think it was the Hummer. We parked it in the front, and we were. I don't know.
4th of July.
You know what? I think since we worked all the holidays that all the full timers didn't want, so the part timers all took all those nice jobs, the fun parts.
Yeah.
So I was grilling hot dogs, I think steaks or burgers or something like that. Courtney, for some apparent reason, just comes in. he pops his face into the studio. He goes, "Hey, studio's it's just going." I go, "Yeah, it's on autopilot."
Yeah.
And he goes, "I think you should sit there." I go, "Well, I got something on the grill over there." And he's like, "Wow, okay, you're ballsy." Flash forward 4 weeks later, he goes, "Hey, you like grilling so much? Get your ass on Kitty Field and grill 1,000 hot dogs for the football game."
Wow.
I was like,
Andale.
"Oh, damn." So I was there with Chad and all those guys. I was grilling 1,000 hot dogs. Man, I hated that. I'll tell you. Did I learn my lesson? No, I didn't. Because no longer did I grill in the front. Now I grilled in the back.
So you couldn't
smarter.
see
You got sneaky.
But
this would be the equivalent of you being on stage with your band and looking over and the bass player's not there and he's grilling outside
Same
the
thing.
bar for everybody. What?
I believe things.
So
like
those are
this.
those are the clean stories. I mean, there's a lot of the other stories.
I want to stop and just say this much. Mario and I have always said that if we ever sat down between the two of us and wrote a book about the things that happened in radio, Jennifer, I'm looking at you right now, our little intern who wants to break into radio, you would think it was fiction. There's no way you would believe half
the stuff,
if not most of what happened. And we can't even tell you the things that actually happened because, number one, I don't remember. and number two, there's a lot of details that you just
cannot ever reveal. Take this to the vault.
I have a bunch of notes with that, and I've said it every time I see you or I see anybody. It's going on the book. It's going in the book. It's going in the book.
I said this. No one's going to believe it.
Right now I have a notebook and of just notes. I was talking to your other guest that was here a while back, Valentino, and he has a publishing company. I think I might.
We may get this damn book out.
Get this book out,
hope so.
But it's going to be based solely on one genre of music. I love metal. I love the rock.
Right.
I think that's one of the big things. And I brought some things that are going to make you and I kind of tear up a little bit, okay? Because as you know, Vic started at KLAQ, I think at KLAQ Kiss, right?
Actually, no. Actually, I started on KROD.
Oh, KROD, that's right.
And I got a great story. I want to share one of my absolute favorite stories of working on KROD. And again, Jennifer, our little intern, is here who wants to break into radio. And this is a great story. This is the things that I don't even think she would be able to get into nowadays because the industry, Mario, has changed so much.
That's so true.
And it's so sad. And I think that, well, I'll get into all that in just a second or two. Let me tell you one of my favorite stories. So working on KROD, oh my God, I will start tearing up right now. I used to run the baseball games. We used to run KROD back in the day was the oldie station. Then it changed into a sports station.
Oh, yeah.
And we would run national baseball games. Baseball is absolutely boring. Baseball is boring to watch. I think the only time no.
But I think your producer is like, "Whoa, dude!"
He stopped producing.
It's over.
It's absolutely boring unless you're
there
in the stadium.
I agree with
you're
you.
enjoying the game. You've got some
beers. You have to be there with beer and hot dogs. Those hot dogs.
Right.
So I had to. And you know what's the most boring thing about baseball? Baseball on the radio.
Yeah.
And you know what's more boring than that? Having to sit there and produce baseball on the radio. When I say produce, that is when the announcers would say, well, we're going to take a break. The inning is the ninth inning. The score is blah, 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 blah. We'll be right back. We'd have to sit and place in the local commercials. Now, kids, this is before computers and modern technology now. We literally had to insert the commercials ourselves on these things called carts. They look like 8-tracks. I can't even get into 8-track. Yeah, I know. Okay. So anyways,
8-track is.
Yeah. So I had to sit there and then there'd be a stretch of, I want to say from the 5th inning to the 8th inning of just boring, just not even breaks for local availability. We just sat there.
Oh my goodness.
So I did that on KROD. That was my internship at KROD. Then I started working on a national radio station or national news program called Imus in the Morning. Don Imus.
Oh, Don Imus.
The legendary DJ Don Imus, who went head-to-head, butted heads with Howard Stern for many years. He became a national figure, became a national radio icon, but it was more political, and it was kind of boring. But I'd run his show in the mornings on KROD. Now, I tell you all that to get to this. We had a phone bank system that we would share. I say we, the KROD would share with KLAQ, the FM, or AM, the KLAQ FM, and I could see who would be calling in. At least I could see that phone lines would be ringing, and there's a hotline for the FM, hotline for the AM. my lines obviously never rang. But I saw the hotline. And one morning, during the morning show with Buzz, I'm working AM's, Don Imus show. I'm listening in on Q, which means I could hear the speaker inside with us while the real program ran out. And I'm listening to Buzz in the morning. And Motley Crue had been in town. Motley Crue was in town. And Motley Crue got to go hang out in the studio. I could not leave my studio because I'm running Don Imus. Yeah. So I'm listening to Motley Crue on the FM. First time, and one of the few times I've been starstruck, okay? So I see the guys walk into the Q studio, and I'm like, I can't go over there. So I'm watching their phone lines, and their hotline rings, and I can see their hotline ringing. So I'm listening to them, and I see their hotline ringing, and nobody's answering the hotline. So I picked it up, and I said, "Hi, FM Studios." And I hear, "Hey, it's Nikki. Let me talk to the boys." Nikki Sixx didn't show up. Yeah, he didn't show up.
That's who that was.
And could I say a damn word? No.
Did you even croak? Nothing?
I think I might. Hold. And all I could think of is Nikki Sixx is going to come to studios and kick my ass. That's all I could think of. And so I put him on hold, and I opened up and I said, fellas, and literally like a producer, fellas, Nikki's on the hotline, and there's Motley Crue in all their glory.
Yeah. Just looking at you.
I mean, that was my AM. That was
amazing.
My first meeting of a superstar. Major.
So for me, it was I'm a big Van Halen fan. Everybody knows that. I'm a huge Van Halen fan. When Van Halen came to the Connie Coliseum, this was 80s.
Okay.
And man, it was just one hell of a show, right? It was right there. David Lee Roth, I think, threw some beer at me. It was so cool, man. Whatever. But I became a fan. That's when you become a fan. But the starstruck moment for me was meeting, believe it or not, the voice of Magic Mike.
Really?
Now let me tell you why. Okay, because Magic for me.
Magic Mike was the DJ, legendary DJ on the Q.
Tie, no tie.
Yeah.
He was the Q. Magic Mike was Kaylee Q.
So for me, he was one of the guys. I have a lot of respect for all the people at the radio station. I worked with some really genius people to some really assholes in my life. But from the Johnny Walkers to the Brad DeBose to the Kevins, the Glenn Garzas.
Where do they fall in those lists? The genius side?
The genius side.
Okay, just want to make sure.
I don't know.
No, in the genius side. They fall in the genius side. I maybe you have something different.
I just wanted to know.
But for me, was meeting Magic. The only reason is because I met him at the Safeway on Montana. I was shopping around. I was, I had hair, so I was walking around, and I accidentally hit his cart. When I hit his cart, he goes, "Oh, you okay, man? Are you okay?" And that voice, when the voice of a radio guy just pops up, and his voice popped up, and I was like, "You're Magic Mike."
Yeah.
And I go, "How do you become a DJ?" I'm doing some stuff at the public radio station. He goes, "Just come talk to me. Go knock on the door, and I'll let you in the studio." That's when I was like starstruck by Magic Mike. Believe it or not. Now, artists after that came in. For me, everything came back, from the famous people that we met, from the assholes of some of the markets. There's a lot of rock stars that are just prima donnas, as you well know. But
I wanted to ask Priss, do you get that? Because it still happens to me. As long as I've been out of the radio game so far, people still recognize me by my voice sometimes.
Oh,
and I'm
yeah.
Like, but does it happen to you as a singer?
Anything like this when I'm out doing like my runs at the grocery store and stuff, but I've had people approach me and be like, "Wait a second. I know your voice." And it's like, because they've heard me talking, because I have a certain kind of way of talking, maybe.
And
do they ask you to sing? I'm being serious. Do they ask you to sing?
all the time. And I'm just like, go on my show. Go like my Facebook. But you'd be surprised how many times I've been randomly singing at a store, in a bar. Anywhere.
Right.
Does
outside.
it still? Because I know Mario's answer. Does it freak you out? Does it surprise you that somebody recognizes you from your voice?
It does sometimes, but it's always so much fun. I get excited.
Right?
To me, it's like so sweet.
Sometimes
it's a kick
it's
in
a
the
kick.
yes.
It's a kick, but after a while, it just it fades. In my opinion,
it never did. No,
it never did for you.
My response was always, aren't you Victor Cruz? No, not right now.
Yes. Well, you see, for me,
I'm not getting paid to be him.
People would tell me, "Aren't you Super Mario?" And I go, "Yeah, but if I owe you money, my name is Glenn." And that's my line all the time. If I owe you money, my name's Glenn. So, and Glenn,
That's a
I
good
love you,
one.
bro. But, you know, and that's one of the big things. But anyways, one of my favorite things about being in radio is just the people. Like, I met you. I've met, God, everybody. And I'll show you pictures of it. But one of my memories, and I think you're going to freak, this hat.
I already know.
And I have, it's the funny thing is, Mr. Magic Mike.
Before you get into that, because I don't want to take away from that.
Yeah.
But did you know that I was one of the first ones to have a KLEQ hat? I got a black hat. Do you remember that?
Yes.
We did a drawing, and I got the black hat, and I want. So, anyways,
so this was
confused.
if you have a chance, there's a Facebook post out there. This was actually Magic's hat. Now, Jackie, I apologize now, but the hat was when Mr. Gary Hoey played in town.
oh,
And he was at Western Playland. And for some reason, Gary Hoey, great guitar player, Gary Hoey,
amazing.
flicked the hat off of Magic. And Magic now has this, they had got a cowboy hat. Magic had some great hair, you know.
He had that Bon Jovi looking old guy.
Great hair, man. But he never picked up the hat. And I go, whoa, I'm just a little intern. I'm going to sneak this hat. I'm going to keep it. And I kept the hat, you know, for a long time. Never told Jackie. The one that pointed the hat out to me was Mr. Brad Dubois. And he goes, hey, what happened to that hat? I go, well, I have it. But this was Magic Mike's original hat.
I'm going to just tear up here.
So, yeah, so that's one thing. And that's one of my heroes, radio heroes. If you ever have like a singing hero, he was one of my radio heroes. It still is. The other people are...
Do you remember that it must have been that same time that Gary Hoey was in town? Do you remember what he did for us at the radio station? Talk about legendary. Talk about iconic. He performed. Gary Hoey's a fantastic, and I know you've heard his music. You hear it and you go, oh, I didn't know that's Gary Hoey. It's Gary Hoey. He performed at the radio station lobby.
Yep.
He opened where the building, it'd be like much in this area that we're in right now. Yeah. He came with a little DAT machine of the rest of his band, and he sat there and performed, I think it was 3 or 4 songs, Low Rider at the time and whatever it was.
Exactly right.
And performed off a DAT machine. And we had winners show up, and if you could make it a VIP, whatever. And I don't know, 25, 50 people were in the lobby watching Gary Hoey.
That is amazing.
So that's pretty cool.
Oh, you can't do that anymore.
Yeah,
you
can't.
Anyway, and so the second, I just had to share that Gary Hoey story.
In our, I think you grew up with with Buzz. With Courtney Nelson and Big L.
Sure.
Right? You know, both rest in peace now. You know, great people in my life. You know, so. And, of course, the famous Scott Ronson.
Oh, God.
Voice.
Hey, guy. Hey, way.
You know, but we'll get to that later. But I have one of the pictures that, I'd like to put this one down here. Yeah. So one of the pictures that I have.
Look at this.
So I am a hoarder of pictures. This is one of the posters. And
I hope the light's not, Ace, when you have a chance, make sure that light's not gleaming off of that poster. Is that a good glare? There's no glare there because that is good, great.
Right there where the Martian is.
The Martian.
That is Mr. Victor Cruz's signature.
Look at that.
So the funny
I'm not
part
surprised.
Is that
right there.
I have a lot of people that are, in my eyes, are radio legends, you know? And you're a radio legend.
Well, this is thank you. But this is the height of it. This is the height of what we were doing.
This is when everything was really, really cool. This is 99. But you got Bob Carter.
Great
Bob Carter guy.
Great guy.
Mr. Glenn Garza.
Legend.
Patty Steele.
Patty Steele. God bless Patty. I miss
Buzz
her
Adams,
so much.
You know?
Buzz, still around.
Magic Mike.
Yes.
A good friend of mine, David Rios.
Still see him.
I still see him too. Scott Ronson and Johnny Walker. Now, every year I would get a poster signed, and this was the only year that I was able to get Magic to sign and Buzz, because Buzz and Magic will never sign anything now for some reason. Although we know them.
I'm sorry. I went back.
So in '99, a lot of this stuff we did everything at Wet and Wild. It was like a free for all. The food, the fun, the friendships. That's where you built the friendships. Going forward a few years.
We haven't even talked about Mario. We haven't even talked about his history. We haven't talked about growing up in El Paso.
We need to know more about you.
Well,
we're getting
El Paso.
We're getting it all now.
Here's one of the things. Scott Ronson and here's a picture of Scott Ronson when he was diagnosed with cancer, but they had a benefit show for him at Speaking Rock,
Right.
at Socorro Entertainment Center. Sorry, it's not Speaking Rock.
What is that?
But what's it called? This was one of the final pictures that we took as a staff. That's his wife right to the left. But that's most of the KLQ staff there. Let me tell you a story about Scott Ronson, and I think everybody knows this story.
And I just want to, because it's got to be about me.
Yeah.
I wasn't I was already out.
He was out.
Yeah, I was no longer in that.
He was not out in the staff picture, but a story about Scott. Magic Mike would give him, he would call the radio station. He was in Fort Bliss. He would call the radio station. He would win so much that Magic said, just come to the station. Just hang out.
Just go.
Somehow
Just be here.
they, Magic was such a loving person. He attached to Scott and hired him
That's awesome.
as our remote tech. That's how you start, as our schlepper.
Yeah.
And moved up to the ranks, and then got into the air. And then he went to Hero with you guys.
He worked with us. At this time now, I've already moved over to the other across the street basically. Yeah. And yeah, he was. In fact, I still have a sneaky suspicion. When he did that, when he was at Hero, I had already moved over. It's a little bit confusing, but I had moved over to KISS. So I was still working with this company. They released me from KISS. And so I actually called Scotty, and Scotty got me in on Hero with Jojo Garcia, who we'll probably have soon enough. And I remember I left a message for Scott. I said, Scott, I just got let go of KISS. Is there anything going on for me? It was on a Friday. They let me go in the morning. I made that phone call in the morning. By the afternoon, JoJo calls me back because JoJo was the production director of Hero at that time.
At the time, yeah.
And I heard JoJo on the speaker. I knew, you can tell when he's on the speaker. So I was like, hello. And he's like, hey. And JoJo goes, how bad is it? And I said, dude, it's so bad, I'll go work for you right now. And I was hired by Monday. Yeah.
So,
That's amazing.
So everybody, there's a lot of stories. There's a lot of stories about radio, but if you notice, a lot of the people like yourself, myself, we're always true to a brand. I think you were true to the brand. Got let go. I got let go. You got let go. But I'm
true to any one of us can say it. We're true to the brand that pays you.
That's exactly right.
Who signs my check? That's who I'm true to.
And I had the opportunity to move to other places, and I never took it. But as for radio history and radio stuff, this is for me. That's why you're one of my radio heroes as well. Johnny Walker's and stuff like that.
No.
Because it's easy to. I love music, just like you love music probably. So one of the big things for me is that you convey a message through a lot of the music that you perform, or the Prince for me, Van Halen, and meant a lot to me and stuff like that. So I came in here to kind of interview you guys in a way.
Well, we were, and here's what, and I'll let you get into the interview.
Quick on this.
Yeah, I know.
Sneaky.
I'll let you get into the interview, but the fact of the matter is you claim that I was a radio hero. I am a hero, but you guys, and I still talk about it to this day, the people behind the scenes, the people that would do those shitty weekend shifts so that the full-timers could go on vacation and do it.
Exactly.
You guys were the backbone of what radio really was. And of course, the remote guys, the schleppers, the interns who would come in.
I was one of those guys. I was a schlepper. I was a remote guy.
Well, so was I. We all got our start that way. Or the better of us, I think, did.
Yeah, so other than that, and one of the things is that I think music has changed so much. Podcasting, video casting has changed so much. Now, has radio lost? This is a conversation we had when we went out to eat, right?
5 months ago. 5 months ago.
So think about this: has radio changed that much? Do you think that broadcasting now is changed?
It's funny that you bring. It's gonna get real deep here, real quick. It's funny. 5 months ago, I would have said no, not really. But after being and full transparency, I've been released from where I was working at. I'm no longer in radio. Now, yes. And the one thing I keep telling everybody right now, Jennifer, cover your ears. Radio is no longer. The radio that we so let me modify. The radio that we grew up in, the radio before us is gone. We're never going
I
back
agree
to
with.
that. We're never going back. Now, those that are still in the industry, and we have friends who still are, and we're on Facebook groups that we see. All I can say is that it has changed and modified with the times, and probably ushered in those changes as well. Radio's playing catch up, and in a lot of ways, radio has changed what's happening. But the heart of me in me right now that says those times, they're gone. You're never going to see that again.
Yeah, and I don't think we'll see the big production stuff like this. Or, I mean, I don't know, man. And then that's where I don't get it anymore. I love the podcasting. I'm a huge podcaster. I carry 2 phones, one for a bunch of podcasts and stuff.
Yeah.
But
and again, the same thing to you,
man.
Priss. You've been in the industry singing wise long enough. Has it changed?
100%.
And let's not even talk about let's not even talk about COVID.
Now. Yeah, no, I'm just saying. I mean, but we all have to somehow overcome and adapt, and we're going to come up with something even better and more different. That won't be what it was before, but it's going to have to it's going to have to take care of certain urges and stuff that we need, like as far as productions and all that. It's got to get to some sort of normalcy. We have to get our plug. We have to have an outlet.
Are we going to go back to normal? Is that? Do you think that?
Were we really
what's
normal?
What's going to be the glue? Is it going to be the music? Is it going to be podcasting? I mean, obviously.
I think it's going to be all of the above.
I mean, I know that when everybody gets that vaccine, everybody's going to go on the street and start dancing, right? But I mean, are concerts back how they were? Are sporting events back how they were? Or is the video casting, the podcasting, the wave of the future?
Teleconferencing.
It's all.
You know what?
It's
I think
changing.
teleconferencing it's gonna disappear because I miss being in an environment
talking.
like
we
this.
need people. We
after
need our vibes.
being on a screen, it's kind of sucks.
One of the greatest things that I've heard throughout 2020, and again, as we get really philosophical and get deep into some of this stuff, but one of the greatest things that I heard, and I'm kind of keeping the romantic in me is holding on to, is that human beings, and let's forget about being American, let's forget about being European and Japanese and whatever ethnic race. Human beings in of themselves have a short memory. We will forget the bad things that happened in this time frame to get to a normal place. So I think that, because I'm just trying to go back, look at the virus that hit in the 1900s, 1914, 1918 flus, and how soon did we get back into a normalcy there? We got into some sort of normalcy. But I also think a lot of the new stuff that has come out will still play into effect. And I don't want to get too political, but I will say this much. I know even if I got a vaccine tomorrow, I know that even if the virus was eradicated tomorrow and everything was normal tomorrow, I know I'm still going to walk around with the mask because I think that is something that we should have been doing to begin with back then. And again, we'd go to Vegas and you'd see the people wearing masks all the time. You'd laugh at them. But then you think, why didn't we do that to begin with? We should have been doing that.
And we should have been washing our hands a lot more often, just saying.
Yeah,
that's
what I'm saying. So,
are you going to have done that?
This is such a loaded and stupid question, but are you going to stop washing your hands now?
No, but I'm glad to see more or doing it much more frequently. That was something we need to take it back on track.
So shows, production value shows in Las Vegas, are they going to come back? Yeah, absolutely.
No buffets.
Those
Concerts.
are my favorites.
buffets,
Just kidding.
Concerts, are they going to come back? Yeah, absolutely. Live events with Priss and them, absolutely. But I even thought, this is just my stupid mind working sometimes, why couldn't a band go perform at a club, at a bar, and you guys put up a clear veneer, clear plastic?
They had that at the Speaking Rock. When I used to perform there at the stage, they did have our drummer in a plastic thing.
Right.
It was hilarious because I would be knocking on there the next song is this one. And he's just like, what?
But I mean, is that the next step?
It
Could
would
be.
Hey, if you want me to do it, I wouldn't mind it because, to be honest, I feel more protected.
To get to normalcy, I think our normal day-to-day lives are going to go back to what they were, but we're also going to keep a lot of what we've learned. Sure. What we've accepted.
We're adaptable
now.
creatures, right?
That's why I said we have
to adapt.
We're going to forget.
Hopefully music will bring everybody together. Hopefully music, radio, podcasting, video casting brings everybody together.
Yes.
Hopefully there's a way to combine everything. I mean, much better than it was before. I think this is a learning curve for us. on this part.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you this then, as we get deep and philosophical here on Stay Tuned El Paso. So you were released from KLAQ how long ago?
I'm going on 5 months.
5 months. And I don't want to say
6 months,
only, but you were only working the weekends. You were only there part-time. You weren't there full-time.
That's correct, yeah.
So let me ask you, if they called you tomorrow and said, Mario, come back, would you go back the way it is now, the way you are now? Would you go back to it?
You know, I would have to flip a coin, man. I mean, nobody's going to be in the studio with me.
Right.
I know that they're anal about disinfecting everything. I know that. Will I go back? Once again, it's a flip of a coin, because do I want to go back? Do I love the aspect of music? Of course I do. You know, do I want to play be part of a group again? Of course I do. Just like everybody else. It's just something that you want to do. Now, do I want to do something? I mean, you know what? That's a loaded question, man.
Yeah. See,
it's a hard question.
This is what's been running through my mind all these times, because again, the romantic in me. I'm such a romantic, and I believe that everything goes full circle. I believe life is nothing but circles. You hit here, and then you learn, and then you go back, and then you go back to this point again, and you're just everything's circular.
We have a lot in common, by the way.
Fashion, everything comes
Love
back.
the circles.
Right? All right. Post Malone, circles. All right. But here's my feeling getting into radio, and now we're talking about how many years have I been out of KLAQ.
Sure.
I always knew, well, when my career is over, I'm going to go back and finish the Q. I started at the Q. I'm going to finish at the Q. And I always had this
possibility.
Well, you can still do it.
But I'm like you. But here's where I've been kicking, and even the wife and I, we still have this discussion. Would I want to go back to the Q now, or do I want to go back to the Q 20 years ago? And I want to go back to the Q 20 years ago. It's not the same. And it doesn't have to be the Q. It could be anywhere.
Yeah,
do I want to go back to that place? Ask Patrick sitting here, Ace is sitting here, Jennifer. Would you want to go back to a place that you left back then, or is it now?
It's all about the people, man. It's all about who, for me, I have some great friends that are there. I can name drop all you want, but I love the people. The people that were always there. Some were assholes, but some were truthful assholes. They would tell you the truth, and it hurt.
Yeah.
But when you got home and you had a shot of your tequila or your beer, like, damn, he was right. I don't know why I'm pissed, but they would tell you stuff, and you're like, yeah, man, that's right. But that's what I kind of miss. I mean, obviously, my wife tells me that all the time. You're tonto, whatever. Yeah. But
it's a different kind.
Your friends, like
it's a different kind.
A different kind of insightfulness.
But like as buddies, I could tell you, hey, you're just being an asshole, And then you're like, no, I'm not. And then you take off, you come back, yeah, he was right. Whatever.
I was pushing buttons. I know I was pushing a button a day. Yeah.
But that's one of the things that I kind of miss. The honesty is always going to be there with my radio. I call it my radio family, because that's what it really is. No matter how far away you are, come back, it becomes a family, And I've always said that. I've said it no matter if it's the pop, rock, country, or whoever, every station here. If you hate rock, if you hate pop, if you hate rap, country, you're still part of a radio family.
Yeah.
And I think you've noticed in a lot of our blogs, if someone's sick, boom, everybody in radio that knows them or has an association is right on top of it. Let's share this post. Let's share this. Someone's sick. We need to do a fundraiser. We need to do something. Something happens that way.
And it was never competition. I don't think it was ever competition with other stations. It was always competition with us in our own building.
Yes.
I knew I wanted to be better than that jock.
Sure.
I knew I wanted to be better than that morning show. But I never looked at again, dear friend of ours, Patty Diaz from Power, and say, oh, we're going to beat them, because it was a different audience. That's like saying.
Absolutely. Exactly. There's so much attention to go around for everybody.
There's enough of the pie that we all had. Exactly. And besides, why I wasn't trying to steal from her audience, or their audience. Why would I want to do that? I'm working on this audience.
As radio people, as artists, we have an ego.
Oh, yeah.
And we have to protect that ego. No matter what it is, I'm better than you on this part. And then let's go to Chico's Tacos. And that's how it works. And that's what I kind of miss. I truly believe that, just like musicians are always competing to be better than someone else.
Absolutely.
Radio people are always competing to be someone. business people. Look at this beautiful building. I'm sure that they competed to get this building.
Yeah.
And that's what I miss.
What? So we started the podcast. You're listening to Stay Tuned El Paso with Priss and Vic. I got to give the timestamp. Can't take the radio guy out of it. As we slowly start to begin to wrap up, believe it or not. But let me ask you. We started the podcast by saying, there's stories that we can't tell.
Yeah.
So what is in your mind? Because I'll share mine if you share. You show me yours, I'll show you mine.
Me
So
I have
what
one.
is the craziest thing that you can share with that you witnessed, that you saw, that you became a part of?
Okay.
One of the craziest things.
So one time,
because people will not believe this.
this
shit.
is the thing. There is a rule in radio and KLAQ is do not take an artist to Juarez.
We've heard this
yes
already.
with Joe. Yeah.
Yes, Joe said
So-
the same thing.
So I took an artist,
Of course
the
he
guys
did.
from Cowboy Mouth.
Right.
I took them to Juarez. The guys were, oh man, take us to Juarez. I want to go. I parked the van, and they were going to play one of our balloon fests. I parked the van, I think, right one of the streets here, right?
Probably down the street.
Yeah, probably, right? And the guy tells me, hey, I know where I'm going. I go, no, man, you don't want to go that way. I don't want to lose you. Magic, Courtney, and I think Brad told me, do not take them across the border. Do not take them across the border.
Well,
Yeah, I took them across the border. And so I took them
I'll
across.
say this much: if there's somebody who needs to take them, no better person than him to go with. Trust me.
I went. We went, right? They wanted to eat tacos and they wanted a beer.
Daytime, nighttime.
It was
Kentucky.
before the show. It was at noon.
Okay.
Okay,
Daytime.
so they did their sound check, and then we took them to their hotel, and the guy was telling me, "Dude, don't take me to the hotel. I want to go have some tacos." I was like, "You want to have tacos?" Yeah, but I want to go to Mexico. I was like, "What?" Okay, sure. So I decided I'll take the guys from Cowboy Mouth, not Fred, the drummer. Fred was the drummer singer. So I took the guitar player. I think his name was Phil, and the bass player, and I think the one of the roadies. Right, go across the border. The guitar player made a beeline. He knew exactly where he was going. He went to the pharmacy. Boom, took off. I was like, "Hey, where are you going, man?" He goes, "Don't worry
party
about
favors. Party favors. Yeah.
it." So I was like, "Whoa, dude." Like your shorts, these were the cargo ones with the big pockets, right? So this guy was all, he had everything. I go, hey, you can't bring that across. He goes, the hell I can't. I paid my money. I go, dude, you can't bring that across. He's across the border. We have our lanyards, it says KLAQ, blah, blah, blah. And the guy gets spooked. So he takes off. I don't know where he took off. I'm panicking. I'm not supposed to take him to Juarez. It's 6 o'clock. It's time to get on the show.
The
I'm
Hangover.
like, oh my God. I called Magic. Hey, Magic, I lost the guitar player. What do you mean you lost the guitar player? They're in the fucking hotel. No, they're in Juarez. Goes, bink, hangs up on, right? I get a call from, I think it was JT at the time.
Hey, JT.
JT calls me. He goes, what do you mean you lost the band? I go, I lost the band.
JT would be the account executive who
at
would
the time.
be the biggest guy for the Balloon Fiesta.
Scared for you right
This
now.
is all on JT right now.
So I was like, Jesus. And then all of a sudden, I see this guy running from the border coming down. But he's running like he's holding something, like he has to go take a poop.
He did not.
So he's running, and luckily the border guy, the inspector, he goes, is that Cowboy Mouth? I go, yeah, that's Cowboy Mouth. Are they here to play? I go, yeah. He comes and he's pinching it, man. He's pinching it. He's like, I got to go to the bathroom. And the guy goes, are you Cowboy Mouth? I go, yeah. He goes, can I take a picture? He goes, yeah, man, but I got to take a bath. I got to take a dump, whatever. So he comes, takes a picture, goes to the bathroom, and I kid you not, grabs his hand, and then he puts it in his pocket. Goes back to the hotel room, washes up. On stage, he says, man, I had a great time in Mexico. And I was like, hey, man, did you put it up your
prison pocket?
Yeah. And he did this. Hell yeah, I spent $150 on this stuff. It's like,
That's it? I was imagining. I'm sorry. I was expecting more than $150 to put that up my hello.
Take a lot
so
more than.
There is a rule.
What's the minimum?
I'd say at least $1,000.
How much you got? Can we pull a pool together?
To end the story, that was one of the big things. There's a rule. It's the Super Mario rule, not to take anybody across the border.
Yeah.
And Glenn would always tell me, it's like, why would you do that? And I love Glenn, but he never told me that I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
You know, but everybody else told me, so I figured I could do it. So I did it.
Nice loophole.
Well, that doesn't get anywhere near my safe stalker story at all. I've told you this story, right? Huh? I've told you about my stalker.
No.
Oh my God. Hey, we have real quick before we wrap up. I'll tell you my quick.
Know about the
All right.
stalker.
So there was something about being, and again, Mario can attest, but there was something about being there is something about being in radio that gives you an ego. There was something about being in that building under that banner of giving you a major ego. You were almost invincible. You were untouchable.
Her voice is even changing.
Wow. So I was working. Sorry, a little bit warm in here.
I was working.
Yeah. So I was working overnights at the time. And again, kids, we don't even do this anymore, but we actually had people literally from like 11 o'clock at night till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning in the building, literally by ourselves. And that's when I first got my start on KLAQ. I was working a lot of overnights, and I can tell you great stories about, and just, fun, cool stories about working overnights.
Oh, yeah.
People that would actually call in, and you'd have a lot of people who called you who were, you figure like 7-Elevens and corner store people.
But people just partying,
Yeah, but you also had like legal assistants who had to be up late getting files together. Yep. You had nurses and doctors who were either going in or leaving or whatever. So it was just a great menagerie of people calling up and just, hey, play me a song. And half the time, a lot of them just wanted to talk. A lot of them they were bored as you were, and it passed the time. And so I actually got to meet a lot of cool people, a lot of friends. In fact, our dear friend Charlie Villanueva, who I knew from high school, but Charlie would call all the time and just sit and bullshit with you on the phone lines, because it was the greatest thing ever, because it's 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So, exactly, pass the time. But I say all that to say there was a time when you knew the strippers were getting out of work, because the strippers would start to call at about 2:15, 2:30.
That's early.
Yeah. Well,
no, that's back then.
Back then.
Back then.
Sorry.
Yeah. This is different.
Sorry, guys.
This is. Sorry, did we just click? So,
Hey, no.
Does 880-4955 ring a bell?
No comment.
Julie? No. So, Mercedes. So again, we say that. So the strippers would call, and I had this one stripper who would always call me, Marty Bell. I'll never forget Marty Bell. Marty Bell would always call me about 2:30. Bro, play me a song. Yeah. Oh, she was cool. Oh, the stories about Marty Bell. But the cool thing about Marty Bell was it was always, play me a song. When you come see me dance, I'll dance for free for you. You get a free lap dance. You get a free table dance. And the wife knows.
The place is closed.
Yeah, the place is closed. The wife knows the story, so I don't mind telling. So the shortened version of this is, I would play the song, then I would go see Marty Bell, and she would give me free lap dances. Then Marty Bell would actually show up at the radio station and hang out in the parking lot, because I would tell her, you can't come in. There's no coming in. You can't be in the studio. Because I didn't. I'm naive. Listen, and this is the times before cell phones. So where the station was on the time on Rio Bravo, a catty corner from KVIA.
There was a payphone.
Thank you.
There's got to be a payphone involved in this story.
She would call me from that payphone and just sit and talk. Okay, and then it'd be like, all right, hey, Marty Bell, I gotta go. Okay, cool. She would leave me notebooks of notes on my car. Here's what I did today. Here's me and the girls went and did this. My daughters and I that. I'm gonna go home. Oh, it's 4:30. I see the sun's coming up, so I'm.
You were like her dear diary.
She was a stalker, but she was the sweetest stalker ever, because she didn't want anything. She didn't want to come in the studio, and I would always tell her.
Talk, huh? Yeah, that's what most of them want to do.
And I would tell her,
felt bad for Money Ben.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's the short version. The longer version.
Oh, that's hilarious, dude.
Things aren't so good with Marty Bell. But I mean, it's those crazy things. I remember people. I remember people knocking.
Oh yeah, I've had that.
People knocking on the windows and trying to peek in to see. You always have to keep the blinds closed and stuff.
So I got a question before. I know we have to wrap up really quick.
Yeah.
You guys have mascots. I see you have your third eye there.
Third eye girl, Prince. The third eye girl always tries to come with us. Ace has what do you call Ace? Snoop. Snoop is always with Ace, and you
have this. What?
Wait, this is new, Priss.
Well, because Bernard got a new home.
Who's Bernard?
My owl. I had an owl before.
Her hooter.
Okay,
My hooter. I had a pair of hooters, but one is gone.
Left.
One left me.
So what's the
Hooters?
Well,
flamingo?
he's my blind flamingo from Vegas. He's from the flamingo in Vegas.
He's blind because he literally is missing.
Because that's how, I don't know, my dog ate his eyes. That's why. For Princess Penelope. But I always have like a toy that I talk to.
Bernard
has got a home the day that I left.
Yeah.
He got a home at a friend's house to scare away like the birds.
Princess Penelope
Is my dog and my alter drunk ego.
And the flamingo
Is her alter ego with no eyes?
He's my.
There's no name.
Okay, this is Vegas, right?
Vegas, the
so
flamingo.
In Vegas, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Apparently, because he can't see.
Exactly. So when you can't see things, you cannot repeat things.
So
That sounds like a dire warning.
So Ace, what is your Snoop? Talk to me about your Snoop really quick before we shut down. Okay.
I love that. Woo! Winning.
It was on sale.
Winning. Those are the
at
best.
Ross.
So I know why you have that, right?
Yeah. It's crazy. Everybody knows
Obviously,
the tattoo. Yeah.
look.
But,
Just so mean.
I know our time is short, and that's my cue right there.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're probably listening to me right
It's
now.
Maribel.
Good.
It's Maribel.
It's Maribel. No. Maribel was mine. She's
so
moved on.
Okay.
She's gone.
Truly appreciate the invitation, Vic. I truly appreciate it, and I hope next time it won't be in this kind of stuff.
I we work together at some point. Or do something
I'm
together.
I'm sure we'll do something. I mean,
Yeah.
it's one of those things that it's kind of amazing. Video broadcasting, I guess that's the big thing now.
Who knows? Who knows where we're going to go? I want to
Sure.
share with you one quick story before we
Sure,
wrap
yeah.
up, because I knew things were going to get a little bit emotional, and they were for me when you mentioned all these great people.
Yeah.
By the way, some of these names that a majority of these names sadly are no longer with us.
That's correct.
From the Courtney Nelsons to the Big Al's to the Magic Mikes, and again, the one
Yes.
thing that you touched upon, I think you didn't really expound on. The one thing that Magic was an asshole. Magic was a boss that would jump down your throat. Magic, you never knew what kind of day it was going to be.
That's right.
Even when from one day to the next, Magic would change, whether it was just because that's how he was or there was some influence. But he was our asshole. He was the one that learned us and taught us. And I know even most recently while I was working in radio, I'd still hear a lot of Magic in the back of my head saying, okay, well, then that's why I shouldn't do that, or maybe it's best I don't.
Yeah.
So he was a great teacher. And Scotty, who's no longer with us, and
Rest in peace.
Rick, Mardi Gras.
Yeah,
My
Rick
God,
Mardi
I can't.
Gras. Jeez, yeah.
I know.
All these guys that have come in and helped shaped who we were and what
radio.
we've done.
That's true.
And radio. But I want to share with you, and it goes back to the picture, and if I can get it to Ace in time, and we'll post it up on the picture. We'll post it up on the picture, and maybe we'll post it in the video for us so that Ace can do this. But we have a great picture of you, me, and Patty Steele. And remember who came to visit us? I asked you. Yeah.
Oh, Edward James Olmos. Holy smoke.
And I think he literally hung out in the studio with us all morning. So I'll tell the quick story. My favorite part about the story is that Edward James Olmos was doing something in town. I don't know what, but he was on the morning show. Buzz was out, and I was filling in because that's what I would do. And you would come and fill in also. Or I think I'd even ask you, hey, dude.
Yeah, I would fill in. I was like your
sports or
I would do
news
something.
or just sidekick, and Patty would do news, whatever. So it was me, Mario, Patty Steele, and Edward James Olmos, and all of us could feel the tension of, this is a major You're a celebrity.
Yeah.
And I remember we took a notepad and we said, okay, we got to get a promo. Much of what we're going to do after here. So we got to get a promo with Edward James Olmos.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And we wrote down, you or Patty or whoever, I said, okay, write down, you missed KLAQ. Okay, KLAQ. All right, cool. And so we were off the air. Or no, we were on the air. We were on the air.
We were during commercials, I think, right?
No, we were still on the air. And I said,
Oh.
Mr. Olmos, is it cool if we just cut a real quick promo with you on the air? And I just want you to say, hi, it's Edward James Olmos. You're listening to Vic, Patty, and Mario on KLAQ. Yeah, sure. So Edward James Olmos takes it. He goes, hi, I'm Edward James Olmos. You're listening to Vic, Mario, and Patty on KLAG. And I remember saying, "Oh, no. That's fine. You got it. Edward James Olmos. I'm not going to. I'm not going to tell him. I'm not going to tell him anything. Don't worry about it.
Good.
I love that picture. Ace, I'm going to send it to you so that we can post it here and added it in. And thanks for hanging out, Mario. It's always
Thank you guys.
a pleasure.
I'm a fan of obviously you. I'm going to follow you.
Woo!
Yeah, there's a lot.
You.
I mean, I don't blame you. Trust me. With
Ace,
with a tie like that.
My tie, guys.
And then I was talking to Ace, your producer, right? But, he's a tech guy. I love all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Great studio here at the, Downtown Spaces. Nice,
Absolutely.
Man. Awesome stuff, man.
Absolutely. While we're saying thanks, and as we start to wrap up very, very quickly, our thanks to Ace, who always does a fantastic job for us here. Also, the Downtown Spaces, Jennifer, our intern, the Herald Post, and, of course, musical director David Hollywood Madrid. You know David as well. Dave's done the music that plays in the intro and this background and stuff for us. So thanks for hanging out, Mario. It's always a lot of fun.
Again,
I can talk to you
awesome.
all day long.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Appreciate you. Man, I hope you get back on the radio, too, to share that voice. I hope at some point something works out for you as well.
Something's going to come up.
And we'll wait for that book.
That book, probably this year. I think it's
you
going to be
need
a
to
big
get
thing.
on it.
Yeah.
You've mentioned it several times.
well,
I think
we're
it's time. You put it out in the universe. It's time.
Yeah, it's
you got a
cool.
publisher. It's time.
There you go.
Appreciate you guys watching in as well. As always, follow along, like, and subscribe, and of course, share our pages, our social media pages as well. We'll see you guys again very, very soon. And I'm sure somewhere in it, we're close to the holidays. So, I guess happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays.
Otherwise, we'll see you next time right here. Stay tuned, El Paso. Hey, it's Stay Tuned El Paso with Priss and Vic.
I'm Priss.
I'm Vic. You know the best way to connect with us? Follow along on all of our social media websites.
And if you have a guest that you want us to interview, please, by all means, let us know.
Like and subscribe to all of our websites. We'll be checking it very, very often right here. Stay tuned, El Paso.